Hey everyone, Dave here from the Album Review channel, looking at some music history from this day over the years. Today, 3rd of February, back in 1997, David Bowie released his 21st studio album, Earthling, on the RCA label in the UK and Virgin in the US. It was recorded at the Looking Glass Studios in New York between August and October 1996, with Bowie himself producing most of the album. This was Bowie in his industrial drum and bass style, and we all know he was renowned for different styles over the years. Now, he recorded this album with the help of Reeves Gabrels and Mark Platy on synthesizers and programming and loops. Gail Dorsey was on bass and vocals, Zach Alford on all things drums and percussion, and longtime stalwart Mike Garson on keyboards. It contained 9 tracks, and 5 of them were released as singles, with a total running time of around about 48 minutes. Now, what else can I tell you? Well, the overarching theme of the lyrics was about alienation and spiritual themes, and was considered a commercial success, reaching 39 in America, 6 in the UK, 5 in Sweden and Belgium, 8 in Italy, 9 in France, and really high teens in many more territories, and achieved gold certification in Japan and silver in the UK. Looking at the singles that were released, Telling Lies was first up in November 1996 and was described by Alan Jones from Music Week as Bowie's vocals are somewhere between spoken and sung over a rhythm-heavy and unsettling track that lapses into jungle rhythms. It will certainly make his 70s fans look askance, though the hipper young things about town will probably embrace it. Now, this was an internet-only release and made 76 in the UK. Little Wonder was released on the 27th of January 97, and it reached 14 in the UK, and was based really around Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, where he wrote a line about each of the guys. But he needed an 8th dwarf, so invented a new one called Stinky. Dead Man Walking was released in April, peaking at 14 in the UK, and was described as a homage by Bowie to his advancing age, as he explained that it was describing rock and roll as still young, whilst everyone else is getting old. 7 Years in Tibet was 4th up and had the distinction of being the last #1 in Hong Kong before it was taken over by China once more. There is a version of this track around somewhere that has lead vocals from David singing in Mandarin. Is there no ends to this man's skills? It did end up at 61 in the UK charts, however. That's the English singing version, not the Mandarin one. Last single was a favourite of mine, I'm Afraid of Americans, in October 1997. Written with the help of Brian Eno, this was originally written for the Outside album and released on the soundtrack for the film Showgirls, before being reimagined and rewritten as a US-only single for Earthling. It reached 66 on the Hot 100. Bowie said of this album, "There was no forethought, it was very immediate, very spontaneous, and it virtually put itself together. Writing and recording, 2.5 weeks, and then a couple of weeks of mixing. It was really very fast." Now, that's the way to create an album, and whilst not my most favourite by Bowie, both Little Wonder and I'm Afraid of Americans more than hold their own for me. Earthling received generally favourable acclaim. Mark Kemp of Rolling Stone described the album as his best since Scary Monsters, and Billboard described it as the most inspired, most cutting-edge, and most promising effort since Let's Dance. The Financial Times in the UK compared the album to both The Prodigy and the Chemical Brothers, whilst The Independent talking about its innovation. The Guardian, however, described it as lacking cohesion, whilst The Enemy felt it was rushed. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this album, and check out the description box for purchasing links, details of how to get in touch with me, and ways to support the channel. Finally, please remember to like the video and subscribe if you've not already, so that you can be alerted when new videos are released to the channel. So until next time, I'll see you all later.